Going inside Memorial Sports, this is the Panther Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. I'm Randy Rosetta. This is High School Fan Zone on a Monday night on 100.7 The Score and Fox News Now. We've talked to Estacado boys basketball coach and players. We've talked to Monterey basketball boys coach Josh Davis. We're sticking with the boys theme for one more segment here. We're talking Memorial basketball with Jonathan Gomez. I want to make sure I don't say Steve, because you resemble your uncle.
A little bit, and yeah.
As we were walking out here, I told you and Josh Davis, you look like a younger version of Josh, and Josh is not old. Look, with the beard, you guys look like you could have. I mean, you guys could almost be brothers or cousins or something else. Maybe it's a coaching facial hair fraternity. I don't know. Jonathan is the right-hand man to CJ Villegas, the Memorial coach, the first-year program. CJ, when I told him it was his turn to come on, he begged off because he wanted to go see a former player play at Wayland Baptist, and I have a hard time. I've got a soft spot for coaches who want to go do that. That's absolutely. It's really cool that he stays connected to players, because you've coached for a few years now, so you know you want to be a part of their lives for those 2, 3, 4 years, but it's important that you're part of their lives, the rest of their lives.
Yeah, no doubt. It's big because it's bigger than just the ball and the hoop and the sports. It's trying to teach guys how to win in life and be great husbands, fathers, employees, and all that thing. And those relationships should carry through if they're real, I think.
Yep. You guys you can take it slow with the group you've got right now, because they don't need to be thinking about any of that stuff for a while. They're still, most of them are 14, 15, 16.
Right.
Again, for folks who don't know, Memorial opened this year with just freshmen and sophomores, so Jonathan and CJ are coaching freshman and sophomore basketball players. Still one of my funniest or my favorite memories from this basketball season will always be CJ telling me when you guys went to your first scrimmage, I think it was at Coronado, when you walked in and Lubbock Cooper walked in and Monterey walked in, and he looked up and he said, "We're playing a bunch of men today."
Yes. Kids with hair in the chest a little bit. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's easy to forget. I think we talked about that last time.
Yep.
It's easy to forget that these kids are so young, but it's been a lot of fun.
They're not playing young anymore. You guys are playing really well in a district that has gotten a lot better because of you guys, because of Liberty being in there. Tony Wagner was on earlier talking about the addition of Liberty the last year and for the next few years, how that's helped Estacado kind of ratchet in a little bit, and you guys being there as well. You guys stand 5-4 in District 5 4A, in third place alone. You're in good shape for the playoffs, but it's going to take some work here to get there. You play at home tomorrow night against Lakeview, which is a team chasing you. They show up as 4-5 in the district standings because of a forfeit. They beat you down there. That's a much better Lakeview team than they've had in the last several years. And then Levelland is right there as well, 4-5. Now, you've swept Levelland, so you have that tiebreaker against them. But you play Lakeview tomorrow, Liberty next week, and you finish with Snyder, which is struggling a little bit, to be fair. So you guys have things laid out in front of you. Have you, as you've watched your guys grow this year and go through this district, what gives you confidence that they are capable of finishing this thing and getting a playoff spot in that first season?
Yeah, I mean, we got good kids. We've got kids that I say it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget because there are times they don't remind us. And we've got kids that in a short amount of time played a ton of basketball. Now, that being said, we talked about the Levelland game. You mentioned it. That was big for us.
Yes.
And we let our kids know how big that was. They don't understand a lot of these moments, especially in district, until they get into them, and how hard it is to beat a team twice.
Yep.
When you come around the second time, I mean, it's the most well-scouted your opponent is and the most well-scouted you are for your opponent. And, and to come out on the road in a tough environment with kids that have never been there before, I mean, it was a huge, huge, huge win for those guys. And we were so proud of them. And just me and CJ were talking this week, just the fact that these kids have the opportunity to make the playoffs is so impressive on their part, from the work they put in and the trust they put in each other and in us. We're not worried about the kids. You know what I mean? They're going to go out and play hard, and they've tried to do what we've asked them. And as long as I think we don't get ahead of our skis and we stay focused on the next thing, Coach V always says, like, the next game's the biggest game because it's the next game. So we got to focus on Lakeview, and then we got to focus on the next thing and see what happens.
And something he told me the other day kind of struck with me. Because your guys are so young, you also have to – there's some work from the shoulders up as far as, okay, you beat them the first time. That doesn't mean that what worked last time is going to work exactly this time. So
Right, 100%. And like when it comes to scout, like it's hard. There's so many things you could tell them, but you don't want to tell them too much.
Right.
But I remember like game plan wise against it, Levelland, we did some things that we were supposed to, and guys hit shots. Guys that we were like, go under on that screen, kid hits a 3. Things like that, and the kids are looking like, it's okay.
Yep.
We'll adjust. He hits another one. Stuff like that. And then we play Big Spring. We beat them by 30 the first time, and then it's a struggle the second time. We didn't play our best basketball. You can't expect to do anything. You have to go and show it.
Yep.
No matter who you're playing.
And they get their second chance at Lakeview, which got the win last time. So maybe some reverse psychology. That let the cat out of the bag. That's the HubCPreps.com game of the night on Tuesday night. Right. 7:30 at Memorial tomorrow. We'll be back after this break. Talk more about Panther basketball on 100.7 The Score.
This is the Panther Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. We're talking Panther basketball. So while we're in that realm, we're going to jump back and mention the playoffs again that we just talked about, because as I mentioned, the 3 girls teams from District 5 4A have already set their, actually all 4 have. Levelland is also in. Let me go up here and see. There we go. All right. From District 5 4A, next Monday, Liberty is playing Glen Rose. That's 6:30 p.m. at ACU. Estacato's playing Brownwood. That is 6 p.m. Monday at McMurray. Let me make sure I've got this right. Memorial is playing Stephenville. That will be 6:30 p.m. Tuesday at ACU. And I just got this information from Levelland. I believe Levelland I think they've got Brock, and you start talking about basketball tradition, Levelland and Brock, you throw those two in there, that's a pretty enticing first-round matchup right out of the gate. Sure. Levelland and Brock are 5:30 Monday at Baird High School, so everything kind of in the Abilene area, all those 4 teams are set. Memorial boys are knocking on that playoff door, which is, as Jonathan was talking about, that's impressive in year one. The Memorial girls are making it look awfully easy. That doesn't Morgan Glaspie sitting out there, she kind of had to deal with that with the Liberty volleyball program, just breezing, making that first year look very simple. It's not as simple as they made it look. But your guys have grinded and done what they needed to do. They've beaten some teams they were supposed to beat. You mentioned you and CJ have both talked about how big that win on the road at Levelland was. We were talking between segments here. Part of the bigness, the largeness of that is beating a team a second time on the road, because high school kids don't always understand that things are going to change from one matchup to the next. But your guys understood and went out and executed. Yeah,
they did. I mean, it was really proud. We, they weren't scared of the moment. Honestly, we haven't had too many times where we were scared of the moment this year, but just guys that were relentless on both ends, getting in the paint, defending, making big plays. They made runs. They tried to make it chaotic, and there was times where we almost went into that chaos with them, and fans are screaming and all that. But man, they kept their composure. I told the kids the other day, your composure is your heartbeat. If you keep it, you live. You lose it, you die. And they really did that in that Levelland game.
Watching your guys, that's been something that stuck in my head. They're young guys. I promised them at some point I'll stop referring to them as young guys. But right now they're freshmen and sophomores, and they don't play like that, if that makes sense. They don't get rattled, because you play Levelland. I've seen them a few times. They do want they want to speed you up and kind of get you out of sorts.
Right.
Your guys, saying that, I've seen you a few times in games where you didn't. Guys kind of stayed methodical and stayed within themselves.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we got some guards that play very maturely, and they have skill sets that they've developed that help them handle pressure. And I think that shows in moments like that when we need a guard to get the ball across half court and not turn it over and initiate an offense and, handle the ball, go to the free throw line, hit shots. Stuff like that, end of game moments that they came through in those moments for us, for sure.
And I'm not going to get the cart too far ahead of the horse. I will look at the other district that you guys match up with. It's the very familiar names. Brock, Glen Rose, Stephenville, and probably Graham are the 4 teams kind of fighting it out there. First year, this is a new thing for you guys coaching them. It's a new thing for the players. What would it mean to a first-year program to get to the playoffs and get that experience out of the way right up off the bat?
Yeah, it'd be huge. Obviously, we got business to take care of, but just the opportunity to get in the tournament, how cool is that? You don't have a chance to do anything unless you get in. And so just to experience that opportunity itself to make the trip, go through the game day prep and the scouting and all that stuff, that will pay dividends later on.
Because you get all these guys back for 2 more years.
We do. So, it's real exciting. Excited for these guys.
Tuesday night at home against Lakeview. Friday at Liberty?
At home.
At home.
Got home
So you get 2 home games in a row. That's
it's
week.
Nice.
And then they finish up, I'm going to guess, on the road at Snyder.
At Snyder. Yep.
So
yes, sir.
Work to do, but work that can be handled. We'll talk to the Panthers again once they get that taken care of. We're going to come back after this break and talk Liberty girls basketball on the High School Fan Zone.